Get you nestled in there. Get rock and roll. Shed a little extra light on the subject. Boom. All right. Here we go. First things first. I want me some goddamn tea. I need some iced tea. Bring some cups down up in here. I got none. Oh, that's good. That's homemade black tea. No sugar. So, a viewer, not to be mentioned, because I don't do that. He knows who he is. He doesn't do social media other than to watch my videos and a few others, has sent me a wireless mic. Hey, thank you again. You know who you are. So those of you watching on YouTube, you're going through this wireless mic. Those of you watching live on Facebook, you are through a regular old Bluetooth. Sorry, the microphone is wireless, but it plugs into the phone, and it only comes with one adapter for the phone. Therefore, I can only run the mic on one phone. And if this works out and it sounds good, I'll order another one. He mentioned that this would be a good product to check out. So if it works out well, we'll order a second and we'll run one mic off both phones. Something like that. I don't know. But for now, this is what you get. Facebook, hey, look, you guys can always tune into my lives on YouTube. So YouTube is getting the better of the two microphones. And hopefully the battery lasts all the way through this. So where we're at today, the rest of our parts have come in to finish working on this motorcycle. Excuse me. So that is what we are going to do. I don't know if we're going to get to tuning carburetors, but we are going to replace the water pump seal and the brake master cylinder for the rear, since we have the parts. By the end of the weekend, this bike may not be done, but it should be up, running, and tuned properly. Hopefully you'll see most of it live. I don't know if you're going to see all of it live. Because honestly, tuning carburetors is something that, can I do it live? Absolutely. Would I rather do it without an audience where I can just think and not have to worry about talking? Yes. So that's the deal on that, folks. The carbs probably won't get touched for a little while here. We're going to put them off to the side. And I don't know how you guys feel about things, but ACAB always carry a Bible. And a good man always has three things on him: clean handkerchief, sharp pocket knife, and a pistol. And well, it's going to be digging into my side, so we're going to put that right there for the moment while we tear into some parts. Okay. This here would be the O-rings for the water pump seal. We only really needed this one. Most of the time, the whole thing comes in a kit with the hard line and everything, but I was able just to find these, and they're a little bit fatter than the standard O-ring, so it's kind of important. So I'll show you why we need them in just a little. And I didn't measure this against the bike for size, but from what I'm seeing, this is precisely what we need. And this would be the new rear brake master cylinder. Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, neat, dude. You get a gold one. That you really won't see it a whole lot on a bike, to be honest with you, but you will see it, and that's cool. It's like a gold anodized coating. That's got to be put on today. So let's figure out how we are going to do this. What are we going to do first? We're going to work on lights, or we're going to work on brakes, or we're going to work on sealing up the coolant. I think maybe we should tackle sealing up the coolant. I'm going to have to probably provide you guys with a little better light source than what we've got, so you can see what I'm doing. Let's add another external light over here. Bear with me one second and we'll show you what we're about to do today. Probably right like that will work. Here plugged in. And, you know, of course, that's not going to work. Let's get you all moved around here. I didn't lay out any tools or anything at the moment, so you'll have to bear with me. Things will take a little bit of time while I get set up. All right. Get this extra little light plugged in here and throw a little more light on the subject. Boom. Let's get you down to my level so you can see what I'm doing. That might help, huh? Hopefully the stand will go low enough. That's close. That's close. Let's get you in maybe over here. Can you kind of see? A little bit better, huh? I freaking move the whole bike over there. I really don't want to, though. All right. So, to do this, we will be needing, I believe, an 8mm socket, a 10mm socket, ratchet extension, and I believe a flat screwdriver. Let me procure those items very quick here. There's the 8. Where's the 10? Do I have one? Well, actually, yeah, I have like freaking 19 of them. But to make life this much easier, we're going to go ahead and put this 10mm on a different ratchet. Grab 2 screwdrivers so I have a little bit of a choice on what I use. I will be needing one of my little picks. That one should work. Oh, we're down deep in the trenches now, ain't we? Pardon me. Yeah, I've had some pretty nasty fucking gas lately. It is what it is. That's something you're going to have to deal with. Oh, criminy. That's a Phillips. All right, well, we'll use a goddamn Phillips, won't we? You know what? Let me do one extra and save the mess on the floor and throw a pan under it in case any drips come out. Gotta get this hose clamp loosened up. I do believe, I don't think this seal let go on its own. Okay, the way these things work is it's a solid piece. This here, this hard line, that's hose. This goes into a housing, that goes into the side of the water pump, all right? Like such. Well, there's an O-ring around it to seal it. When I take it apart, you'll see the O-ring. Number one, it's kind of flattened out. It's old. These are rubber. They only last so long. So I'm thinking somebody decided they would have to remove this to remove the carbs. And when they pulled this apart, they just yanked it. This bike never had any issues with overheating, so it doesn't make sense to why they would take that apart otherwise. But then again, if you knew the backstory on this motorcycle, you would know it was actually stolen by some human pile of trash. And they're the ones that futzed with the carburetors and caused the mess that, well, we're now cleaning up. Human beings can be garbage sometimes, man. They really can. I don't get it. It's not an expensive motorcycle. It's one that, even if you worked at McDonald's, you could afford one. Especially if you have just a little bit of skills and you bought one that needs just a little bit of work and fixed it up. Like I said, that's what kind of got the whole Phoenix Motorsports thing started for me. Is up till recently, I never had money for a nice bike. I was lucky if I had a pile of junk that was falling apart, so I had to learn to fix them. And because of that, I became pretty good at it. And I decided to share that with you guys because I figured there might be somebody out there who wants a bike and can't quite afford it. I glued that bugger in with a little bit of silicone, so it might want to fight me coming out. There we go. All right, you see what's going on with that right there? Okay, that should be around the O-ring. See where it's torn? Okay, that's the heart of our water pump leak, and as you see, that's not a properly shaped O-ring. It should be, yep, it's this one. These little baggies are staying hard to open. Honestly, I sealed it up with a little bit of RTV silicone, and it probably would have held, but that is at that point when I had found out that, you know, you had to get the whole hardline kit. So I sealed it up and figured it'll hold, but then I was able to find these on eBay through a seller that I use all the time, and well, you know how that goes. I got a deal. Didn't pay much for them. We'll match them up. They're the same size. All right, if you turn it sideways, you can see what time, pressure, and heat is done to this O-ring compared to this one. It's all deformed. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is get up in there, scrape that silicone out of there. We don't want that in there. We have a proper seal. So we don't need that stuff in there. And my knee is blocking the light right out of you guys, huh? How about that? Is that better? Okay, let's get this garbage out. Is someone trying to call me? Yep, sorry guys. Someone's ringing my phone. Of all people, it's my mom. Talk to you in a little bit, Mom. Gotta get this garbage all cleaned out of there. Now I'm kind of wishing I just put coolant in it and tried it, because, oh man, that would have definitely sealed with the amount of coolant that's, or the amount of silicone that's stuck up in there. That would have sealed. No doubt in my mind it would have sealed, but so it is. A little solvent here, something like that. Clean it up pretty good. Okay, much better. Okay, a little more solvent. We'll do that one more time. Love the smell of brake cleaner, huh? Always have, always will. Jam that up in there. And Oh, yeah. Good to go. This piece here. I clean it up too because there's silicone all over it. Because somebody tried a quick fix. Wonder who that'd be. Oh, this a-hole. Just a rag with a little brake cleaner should take that directly off. Yep, it's melting that silicone down nice. All right, we a little bit on the outside edge. It's got to go. We want a good clean seal and a good fit, so we clean the parts really well. The O-ring, kind of gently walk it over like that. That's a little bit of a big, doesn't say precisely which one it is, but it came with 2 small ones and 1 large one. Let's go ahead and try to squeeze the smaller over, see what it does. Yeah, that's a better fit. Yeah, that's definitely the right one. Okay, I'm gonna go in here with you and in here at the same time. You rotten devil. You're fighting me a little bit, aren't you? You can only go one way, so here's what we're going to do with you. Rather than, because this O-ring needs a slide in there, what we'll do is take a little bit of something a little slickery here. I guess. And we'll just kind of lube that up a little bit like such. There we go. That'll do the job. That should do the job. Get you to go in that hole. That hose clamp should go over you. There we go. That out of the way of the light. There we go. Yeah, that's all it needed. Pardon me. Bam. Last night's dinner talking back. All right. Hopefully that made a nice seal. Let's tighten the O-ring. Yeah. It's a little bit of a double to talk and work at the same time. Let's tighten the hose clamp up first. All right, right like that. All right. And install this bolt. You don't have to kill these. That's a difficult spot to get your sausage fingers into. A couple turns should do it. There we go. Get on there, you devil. There we go. Okay. Coolant leak fixed. Let's go around to the other side. Turn this lid out because I don't think we'll need it. And let's get you looking at the brake lines for the other side. And about there, you got a good view of what I'm doing. I got a little extra room I can put you. Just unplugged. Hope y'all appreciate this. It's kind of a pain in the rear end to do this live. It really is, man. Okay, you got me, folks. You got me. On Facebook, you can't see as good, but you know, if you're on Facebook watching this, you could also join up on my YouTube and watch me there. Huh? All right, what do we need for you? Looking like you're an Allen key that goes the whole way through. Pair of pliers. And maybe a 12. Okay, let's get some tools. Away. New. Here's what we'll do. We'll just take the whole friggin' socket set with us. And smaller ones. Got them, but I don't have access to them. All right. Let's see where we're at here. It's 8 mil. That looks close. Nope, that's probably a 6. Do I even have a 6? I bet you I do not. And I got a 7. And I got a 6. Maybe I do got what I need here. Much rather use this than a regular Allen key. Yep, alrighty. That makes life a little easier, doesn't it? How many of you are watching now? Matthew Turner. It's hard to read this from the stand. This is a Kawasaki EX 250R Ninja, years 2009. If you're new to this project and channel and all that happiness, that is what I'm working on today. Of course, you would be behind that bracket, you dirty mother. Extra stuff to take off. Well, maybe not. I can reach behind there with a wrench and get you, I guess. Not the way I really want to do it, but it's looking like the way I'm gonna have to do it, isn't it? Yeah. It's either that or take this off. Maybe, just maybe, we can get it down out of the way. Let's see. Usually more one way to skin a cat here. If I can pop this off and rotate it down just a tick, which I do believe I should be able to, it'll give me access to that. Just give this a shot real quick before we get to fighting with that, huh? Did these go straight in or is there not behind? Yeah, they go straight in. Sometimes there's more than one way to skin a cat, you know what I mean? You can go by the manual on things and you can figure things out on your own. When it comes to technical stuff up inside the engine, yes, I absolutely recommend doing that. There we go. That's fine. See, now I can go straight on there with a socket. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah, I absolutely do recommend using the manual for things like that, but things like this, sometimes you can just figure them out as you go. Yeah, we were a 10. All right. I love these as well. If you know what this is a wobbler extension. It just gives you that little bit of, a little bit of play. It's not quite a swivel, but if you got something in a hard to reach area, it makes it kind of a bugger sometimes to start a bolt in a difficult area. But if you got a little bit of a difficult area to work with, sometimes they can really, really make your life easier to get your wrench in there and do what you need to do. And as always, if we can, we want to stick the bolt back in the hole we got it out of. Okay. Let's go back to you here. Oh, we gotta fight this goddamn linkage apart, and it's up inside there. You can't even see it good from there. Cross that bridge when we come to it, won't we? Try to leave the foot peg in place. If we go any further, let's move this pan to here because we are going to have to remove the brake line. Actually, I do believe it would be much, much easier to do that while that is still bolted on. So, pardon me while I go grab a, what looks to be maybe a 12 or 14 wrench and do just that. Maybe 14. Where's the 12? 13. Maybe the 12. 15. 12. Probably a 14. Nope. 12. Okay. Let's get you loose. That way I don't gotta fight with you. I'm seeing something right now that I don't necessarily like. I think I can work around it. I'll show you guys in just a second. Well, of course, there's going to be this to fight with, and it's back in behind there. You son of a gun. How can we make that easy on ourselves? Pull this bracket out. I don't really want to, but where the day is taking us, isn't it? Number one, make it easier for you guys to see exactly what the hell I'm doing. Number two, I don't have to lay on the ground. I'll take out a couple extra bolts, remove this entire bracket. Spinner says what, we can see what we're doing. All right. Yeah, okay. Can you see that? See what's going on there? That little cotter pin's got to come out. Pull that little cotter pin out. Get some needle nose. Straight pick. And I'll show you in a second what I'm kind of not happy about. Here's the new one, right? Virtually the same, right? Except this just has holes, whereas these actually have a threaded boss up inside it. And wow, this is way too long, so we're gonna have to, we might have to make something work here. We'll see. All right, let's get the whole thing off in my hands first, and we will compare notes when we are at that point. Let me, yeah, I'm really dripping that much sweat. I'll get the whole thing to turn around that way. That would make life easier, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm on you, devil. Stay straight for me, huh? There's one. Let's get the other one straightened out. There we go. Turn you this way. Get you out. Take this pin out. And then what we're going to do is just replace these two. Just loosely thread them in. Just to hold that up and out of my way. You are a devil. You are a devil. And I will conquer you. There we go. Just a couple of threads like that, just to hold the bracket up and out of my way. Then I'll go ahead and fight this back behind the bracket. You come here. You're going to lose this fight. I want you out of there. You're coming out of there. Okay. 14 mil wrench. No, it was a 12. That's right, dumbass. It was a 12. A couple of turns on you. All right, now, holy crow, look at the dust coming out of this thing. Now you can see what's going on. We got the same unit, except the main camera. This one here, it's like she takes a nut and a bolt and some more of a universal one, whereas this one's actually threaded. So there's that. Which means I'll have to do something a little different here, maybe. And these are special little bolts with a shank in it to come through. And they're not even going to go through there, are they? They're not. All right, we're going to have a workaround here, maybe. Put you in the pan. Let's see what we got there. And one more thing. Now, this is designed to be this way, obviously. It's a universal one, as you can see. Threaded piece is a little longer. It's going to require a little more work, whereas part of this is going to have to be cut off, chamfer put on it, and then this piece here. But essentially, from what I'm seeing, this piece will fit. This is kind of what you get nowadays, Chinese replacement parts. Are the holes even going to line up? Yeah, they will, kind of. Which way did it go? It went this way. Yeah. There's a few things I don't like about this, but can I make it work? Yeah. This reservoir hose is way too long. We're going to have to trim it short because that's going to be hanging, and I don't like that, so we'll have to take a piece of this hose off. And I just don't like how this fitment is, but technically it will work. I'm just going to have to use a nut, bolt, and washer, which they do have some here. They are buried. So that's a job for not alive, because you guys probably don't want to watch me dig through parts for 3 hours. Let's see what we got inside here. I can also take this damn thing apart and use the seals from the new one to actually rebuild the old one. I don't necessarily want to do that. See how much slop's in. Love to tear this apart, show you guys how she goes inside. Can I even get that little circlip out? Yeah, I could. It's going to take some doing. Probably more doing than I feel like doing. Yeah, okay, so that guy can stay like that. Just wipe the brake clean up off the floor. Not brake clean, brake fluid, you idiot. Alright, we got a pan to catch everything. Like I said, this is a universal one. It will work just fine. I will have to modify it just a little bit, and we're going to have to use a nut and bolt in here, which, you know, that's fine. It'll work. Just got to find one the proper size to do the job. These are the bolts that held it in place. And they're not quite gonna do the job, I don't think. Might want at least a nut behind it. So either way, I gotta dig through my parts bin and find a nut for that. So, like I said, dull jobs for another day. So, not necessarily another day, but later off camera while I dig around. Unless possibly tomorrow we might head to our local hardware store and buy a couple of metric nuts, and that would fix that problem. But I am pretty sure I have them. I always keep crap like that, although I did give away a whole bunch of metric nuts and bolts with the Honda Goldwing giveaway I did earlier this spring. Let's get you guys back up here for a second. Show you what we got going on up here. We're going back to the bench because we're moving on to plan B. Because we've got more stuff that needs done. All right, where were we here? You have to be a little bit fluid when you're working on bikes, and you see I've got a full-on shop. I'm not fully stocked with nuts and bolts at this point. We will be eventually. This garbage out of the way. It's back where it goes. You guys get a good view of what I'm about to show you. And we need to twist you this way a little. All right. Now, I was spinning in all my different videos on how this carburetor works, a constant velocity carburetor. I don't know if I want to go back over it to explain to you what was FUBAR on these. But I guess I could. Make it quick and simple. This is a standard, it's like a race bike carburetor. Okay. There's a slide inside here. Pull the throttle, slide goes up. Gas air mixture goes into the bike. This is the air cleaner side. This is the engine side. This pulls up directly in. Slightly different setup. It's designed to be a little more smooth operating for on-road conditions. That's off a race bike. It's wide open or nothing, wide open or nothing. This is a much more smoother operating system. Butterfly valves on the engine side, open up, create vacuum. Vacuum pulls on the inside on these, right? And right here, this is a little port that's connected to up here. There's a diaphragm. When vacuum sucks on this, it sucks up on the diaphragm, raises your slide that allows your fuel and air to go in. These ones were being upset and funny because there was a torn vacuum line, which as you can see, we have replaced here. This is for the decelerating enriching circuit. In other words, these valves are shut, engine RPM goes up. It's going to suck air past this. It does because the engine's sucking on it. Well, when that happens, that opens this little port, which allows it to draw just a tiny, tiny bit of fuel into the mixture and keeps that pop-to-pop backfire and extreme lean condition. Well, what's going on with the idle circuit? You can see these two screws right here control that. So that idle, how much fuel is going to come in. Well, if you look down inside there, you see that little thingy sticking up? That's the pin for the mixture screw, and so is that one. These are way out of adjustment. This one's probably good. This one, for some reason, someone has turned all the way shut. See? All the way shut. So this side was not getting any fuel whatsoever during idle. So during idle, it was only running off this side, which is why the sucker seemed to want to idle only at 3,000 RPMs, because it was only idling when it was sucking on this hard enough to draw air and fuel through, whereas this side was able to do its thing at just the idle. So these need adjusted. I don't have the exact manual for exact Kawasaki settings. I've researched it online. Also, it depends on your temperature and barometric pressure of the area, anywhere from 1 3/4 turns to 2 3/4 turns. We're going to see what this side was set at, because it was running on this side. Let's see a little white spot there. Okay. 1 turn, 2 turns. It was set at exactly 2 turns. Now you don't grip these tight as soon as they seat. Okay, 2 turns is where it was set, so that's pretty close to factory. 1 turn, 2 turns. Okay, this one should be about the same. 1 turn, 2 turns. That's a baseline. When the engine's up and running, we're going to have to adjust it. We just are. And I may make a video on how to do this. I doubt I'm going to do it live because it's frustrating. I need to concentrate, and I will not be able to talk to you guys and concentrate at the same time. Sorry, I'm a human being, man, and a human being with only so much patience. And sometimes when it comes to that type of thing, I need to just do the job and concentrate on doing the job. I can do that with a GoPro running. It's a little tough to do that with a live audience. There will be a video on exactly how to tune these in properly. Next thing that needs to happen once these are installed. Bear with me, I'm going across the garage to grab a tool out of the cabinet to show you something. Okay, next thing needs to happen. This is a baseline. This bike should fire up and run at this point. We may have to tickle the idle a little. Your baseline is there. So you're going to need this guy right here. Set of vacuum gauges, synchronize the carburetor. And I do believe we're going to hook them up through these 2 vac ports because they pull right off here. Some bikes will actually have a screw that you can take out and pop that screw out, thread this guy in, and hook your dial directly up to it. But as you can see, where it would be, like on a Gold Wing, it's right over here. Where it would be, that's blocked off. So what you need is a port that's going to get direct vacuum between the engine and the carb. You don't want it on this side. It's got to be on this side of the carburetor where the butterfly valves are. This goes directly to the fuel line. No, excuse me. This goes directly to the PCB. This goes to the fuel line. When we do this, we're going to run the bike off of a actual fuel bottle, not the motorcycle's actual gas. Do I have my fuel bottle handy here to show you it? If not, whatever, you'll see it when the time comes. I'm not going to waste any time on that. But I am going to make sure, before I go any further, that my vacuum lines are going to fit. Because if they're not, I'm going to have to finagle some adapters, and that's not the end of the world. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. That'll fit there. This can probably hook directly onto the gauge. If not, I have connections, and I had another set of these, kind of a janky one. I ordered a good one. Okay, that'll fit. So that's where we'll take our vacuum to actually synchronize the carbs and set them up. So that's what's going on with that. And that's will be the next step, because I want to keep rolling on this. And if I have to go out and actually purchase a couple of nuts and bolts to affix the new master cylinder, I'd rather get everything work-wise done that I need to do done now before I leave the house again, because I'm in some ratty, dirty work clothes and shoes. So let's see. We're going to set you guys up where you can see what I'm doing. Is over here going to work? Probably. You're going to hear probably some cursing. Sorry, it is what it is. Sometimes these are a bitch to get fit back in place. This bike isn't that bad. If you've ever wrestled a set of carburetors out of a flat 4 older Honda Goldwing, you'll know. That is a complete bitch. This isn't too bad. It's annoying, but it's not end of the world annoying what I'm about to do here. Get you set back in where you can see what I'm doing. Okay. We're going to need a milk crate to set on. Don't believe we'll need much on the way of tools just yet. Is there going to be enough room for me and you guys to fit? I don't know. Shed some light on the subject. Something like this. A little extra light so what we can see. That's perfect. Now I got to fit my fat ass in between there, and that's not perfect, but that's what we're doing. Come around this side here. I'm sure I'm going to block the light, so I guess I can probably move that to somewhere better. Maybe right here. Not going to work? No, probably not. How about here? No. How can I? Yeah, right like this would work nice, huh? Yeah, okay. Now we got a good view. You guys got a good view. Right about like that. And I could sit here and I'll be out of your way. Okay. You gotta hook up the choke cable first. That's this guy right here. Then we're gonna get the carburetors to slide in here. And let's see. There's some schmutz on there. Let's clean that off. And let's get a little fingerful of something schmutzy to make them slide in easier. Okay, you guys can see. A little bit of cleaner on the rag here. Go ahead and clean this garbage off of here. See that there? I don't like that. I want that cleaned off. Jeez, Pete, that's in there, huh? We're gonna need a pick. And we're gonna need needle nose. So let's grab that up. I want the other pick, not this one. See down in here, you're gonna get that out of there. We don't want that. We don't want that in the boot. We don't want that to potentially be sucked in the engine. It's dirt. You only want clean air and fuel going in the engine. So that's the name of that tune. All right. Okay. Clean them up. A little finger full of this stuff. Don't need a whole lot, but it is going to make our life much, much, much easier because you're sliding metal into rubber. And if you have a little bit of something slickery on the metal, and we'll even put a little in the boot. Get a little something slickery in there, it'll just make your life a little easier. We'll do the same back here. Not much. You don't even really have to do this. But you have a connection where metal's connecting to rubber. A little oil or grease, anything you got handy. It's going to make that a whole lot easier for it to go in where it needs to go without tearing any seals. Alright, the devil of this is getting a choke cable hooked up first. That's not how I want that to go. This went in through the top like this, so that has to go boom like that. And that guy rides over in this clip. I do remember that being a fight. Both throttle cables went through here, one back here. That's not where that went. That went over here through this. Yeah, that's how that went. So, like that. Through there. And the cable goes through here like this. Sorry, I know I'm covering it with my hands, but much as I want to show you what I'm doing, I want this bike to be finished and out of my garage so that I can start on the next one. Charlie, if you're watching, time's coming, baby. Better get that motherfucker fired up and brought over here. I'm only going to give you so much time, then the next person in line is going to get their bike done before you. Okay. Choke cables reinstalled. Now we fight these dirty mothers back in where they gotta go. And it's a fight. There's no easy way around this. That's not gonna do what I want it to do. Do we go under this? How do we fight you in? That's annoying. Really annoying. Can you see what I'm doing? I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. A little closer. Okay. A little closer. Man, these guys in their home. It's your home. Go home. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, you devil. Are you both? Yeah, you're both in the position. And then back here, if I remember correctly, I slid the airbox back and out of the way. I wanted to remove it and make my life easy, but that would have required more bullshit than I was willing to do. Get you out of the way. Oh, that's right. You got to go in that little grommet. There we go. Now you're in. Now you're in, you devil. All right, carburetors are in place. Goddamn cats. Listen, I got a pit bull that don't like cats. Okay. I'll put my dog out to pee and it literally eats your cat because your cat is not in the house. I'm sorry, that's just not my problem. Keep your cats in the house. Get your cat spayed. Please. For your own safety, if you love your cat, keep it spayed, keep it in the house. It's not my problem if my dog munches up your cat because your cat's in my yard and it shouldn't be in my yard. Period. Okay. I love cats too. Don't get me wrong. I had a bunch of them in my life. I love all animals. But keep your goddamn cat in your house for everybody else's sake. All right. So that's done. I'm just going to tighten them up. And of course, I left the screwdriver to do that on the other side of the bike. No, I didn't. I actually put it away. I'll be a monkey's bare ass uncle. All right. Quite sure these are not JIS screws, but they only need to be snug anyway. Go ahead and snug that up. Okay, that's about all more that needs to go. Same with you. Oh, you're going to be tough to get to, huh? You probably mother. Does that band slide? I don't think it slides. It'd be so nice if it did. I guess I should have came to that conclusion before I put the goddamn carburetor in the way, huh? There we go, you rotten son of a bitch. I need a straight screwdriver. A little prying implement here. Okay. And get that turned up, because that screw was running into the frame, making it impossible to reach, which that's something we just don't want, isn't it? Pry you up a little more where I can reach you. Oh, you rotten son of a bitch. There you go. All right, let's get you snugged up. Now, a lot of guys will want to put pod air filters on this. Look, I promise you, they look super cool, but with constant velocity constant velocity carburetors, pod air filters are really not what you want. This type of, and I got to get a proper screwdriver because it's not doing what I want. The way this carburetor works, the way it needs to pull vacuum, I promise you, it's going to work so much better with the factory airbox than it will with pods, okay? I watched guys over the years just beat their brains out trying to get their CV carbs tuned in with a set of pod air cleaners. It's not the way to go on a CV carb. If you have to run pods, then you're going to want to go with a flat slide or round slide, actual racing carburetor, not a CV carb. If you want it to be tuned properly and run properly, I'm sorry, that's just what you're going to have to do. Okay, it is what it is. Deal with it. Don't hate the messenger, but that's what you're going to have to do if you want that to run properly and you want to run pods. You're not gaining that much power. I promise you, you're not. They're just looking cool. And honestly, the little bit of extra airflow you're going to get from a set of pods on a bike like this, you can accomplish that by just having a aftermarket air filter. Because they're not going to pull the kind of vacuum you need. And you're not going to be happy with the results. You're just going to beat your brains out trying to get your bike tuned, and trust me, it's just not. The motorcycle gods are not going to be looking in your favor if you put a set of pod air cleaners on a bike like this. Do yourself a favor and don't do it. Run it stock. Tune these carbs in the manner of which I am about to show you shortly here, and you'll be much, much happier with the results. I promise you. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fight with you at some point soon here. All right. Screwdriver. And tighten this clamp up. No, that's gonna do that, isn't it? I have to hold that with one finger. Just snug. You don't have to kill these things. Trust me, I promise you, you don't have to kill them. Just make them snug. Ah, that's right. You had that stinking long ass Allen key in it because somebody had lost the damn screw. So here, this is what you had. I gotta find the Allen key that it fits it. Oh, I have to fight this. Where was it? Where does it go through? Let's go with this. Let's get this slid up where we can work on it. This is rather annoying. What the problem is, somebody has lost the proper screw, and they replaced it with this. It should be a Phillips head. They have replaced it with an Allen key because probably that's what they had. I know I've done a lot of that over the years, but I never cease to become annoyed when I have to work on some old junk that somebody's done that with. This is not bike shops that do that, because listen, dude, Phoenix Motorsports is somewhat of a bike shop. I'm just a dude that does this in his spare time because it's fun, and I really like to help people, especially folks who maybe can't afford to take their bike to a shop, and that's why I do this. So I'm not necessarily a fully stocked bike shop that has a cart full of every screw and nut and bolt known to man. That's why you see what you see. A lot of times we will work with what's there. We will make things work, which is what we're going to do with the brakes on this. We're going to have to find some nuts and bolts in the right size, because that is not a Kawasaki Brake Master cylinder. That is the universal one. And it just doesn't quite fit. It will fit. It's just not exactly meant for this machine. It's just a universal one. And it is what it is. Tight. Okay, we're snapped up good. All right. You go like this. All right now. Except you're in the way. This bracket here got bolted up over here. Did it? Or did it? And let's get the throttle cables dealt with first. Determine which one's which. Because I tore this apart a couple weeks ago, and we had to wait for parts to come in. One cable, and there's two. Which one's the pull side? That's the push side. This is the pull side. Okay, which way is this go? Pull side's going to go up here. So go ahead and, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and get you clipped in your spot right there. Where'd the other cable go? Where'd you go, you bastard? Right here, you bastard. Okay, you clip back inside there. But I want you like hooked in your spot first. So we'll take you like this. Ah, you devil. Okay, get that down there. This is why I wanted this off of here, isn't it? That's why I took you to hell apart. You are just in the way, aren't you, you devil? We are going to fight, and I promise you I am going to win if we fight. I've never been beat by a motorcycle. I've been aggravated. I said my share of swear words out of them, but I ain't never been beat by one of you yet. Oh, I want to tear you off and throw you somewhere and not see you again, but that just can't happen. Okay, maybe if I move you up here and out of the way, like that. There we go. Can I get that? Needle nose are handy? Oh, of course they're not. Why would they be handy? I need them. Oh, almost had ya. Like that fucking commercial with a dude with a dollar bill on a fucking fishing pole. Oh, not quite, almost. That's what I feel like. A couple of young bucks came to visit my neighbors last night on some beat up old Harleys, and it warmed my heart chit-chatting with them. About 11 o'clock at night, they were out on the porch just BS and sitting around the fire pit. I got them gas fire pits on the porch. The neighbors got one, so of course I had to get one. One had a 03 Super Glide. I've seen more zip ties and hose clamps on that bike, let me tell you. She had a set of rake triple trees on her and some extended forks. And she was hanging in there, low miles, but you could tell, like, we just kind of butchered her together. And young men, both after my own heart. I told them to stop on by if they ever have problems with their machines. Told them to check out the channel. Because that's what I love to see, man. The youth of America. You know, you got money to fool with an old Harley Davidson. You ain't got money for drugs. And that's fucking awesome. Really is. Okay. We got throttle. Yeah, we got a working throttle again. All right. Just got to lock them in place. And I do believe they were 10s. I think they were 10s. And I got a 12 and a 14 sitting here. I'm going to need 10. Back to the wrench pile. I'll fire this cigarette back up and finish it while I'm at it. Here's a 10. Do I have 2 10s is the question. So I need 2. And I know it's a 10. All right. Yeah, it was a 10. So what you do here, basically, we're just going to lock this in. How much play do we got? Not a lot. I would like to see more than that. That's, you want a little play in your throttle. Let's go ahead and do one of these and give this a couple of turns. Because I just would like to see a little more play. You don't want much. That's better. It's not what I want to see yet, but it's better. Back this off. We got a little more. Less than a 16th of a turn at the throttle, but you do want some play. See how I'm barely turning the throttle. Hopefully you can see the throttle plate. Okay. You got some play, but not as much as you kind of want to see. I mean, you want it. You don't want a sloppy throttle, but you do need to have a little bit of play. And because we had to loosen this all up to get it apart. See, that's better. See how the cables are moving a little bit and not moving the throttle plate? That's what you want to see. Let's go a little more like that. Okay, that's better. So what we're going to do is put, I'll use the bigger 10 here. We're going to put one there and put one here. And go ahead and lock this lock nut down. Okay, little goofy thing with wrenches. Okay, Craftsman, excellent. And I've had these forever, and I like these because they're 6 points. So if you have something slightly rounded, 6 points good. But you see how they have this embossed raised piece? All right, these are Pittsburgh. It's a cheap Snap-on clone, but you see how they're smooth. Okay, Snap-on wrenches are always smooth all around them. when you're tightening a nut, the angle that's on this, you make a turn, and it's hard to get back over here, but if you flip like that, you can get a more angle. Okay, that smoothness to that wrench feels so much better in your hand when you do that particular move. Okay, and that's the difference. It really is with a good set of wrenches that cost a couple bucks, or in this case, a cheap knockoff. Okay, there's a little bit of excessive play in that, but I'm gonna let that go because that is the push cable that, if your throttle gets stuck, you have two cables. The second cable, when you wind it back, is going to pull it back. That can have a tiny little bit of extra play, and it's not going to necessarily affect anything, but I'm going to go ahead and take just a little bit of it out. For the simple fact that if this fella's throttle sticks, I want him to be able to wrench the throttle back and have an accurate turn on it. Okay, something like that. And we'll go ahead and stick a wrench here. No, you moved. I didn't ask you to move. Okay, stick a wrench here. Stick a wrench here, and we'll lock this down so that it can't come out of adjustment. See how I flip the wrench over in my fingers like that to get a better grip? Not a better grip, but a better bite on the nut. Can I get you to spin down? You're going to work with me here. Like I said, that's the difference. And it's a personal thing. You might not care, but me personally, you know, I like a wrench that is smooth on the sides without that embossed thing sticking up, just because when I do that, it's just easier on my fingers. The more wrenches you turn, the more shit you work on. You know, if you're a mechanic that does this day in and day out, it's going to make a difference into how torn up your hands are at the end of the day. I know it sounds trivial, but the more of this you do, the more you're going to find out that what I'm saying makes sense. Okay. And I'd still like to see that a little tighter. Don't have very much room to work in here. Bit tighter. Alright, now a little jumper like that. We should be where we need to be. Alright, there, we're snug. Yep, see, hopefully you can we angle you up here? See, a little bit of play. Little bit of play is all you want. But you do want that plate there. All right. Carbs are in. Everything's snug. Okay. Yes, let's get the water pump reservoir, or excuse me, the radiator reservoir. And let it hit the floor. I heard it. Where to go, I don't know. I'm gonna have to chase it. Let's get a couple bolts started in you. I think you went like that, didn't you? And you couldn't have, because that won't line up like that. coolant. I have to go back through and watch the fucking video. Yeah, coolant like that. Right there. Get you started. Don't get me started, you bastard. Sorry if my head's in the way. Yeah, it kind of has to be at the moment. Deal with it. Not necessarily a professional YouTuber. This guy likes to work on these old bikes. Get you started. Okay, let's go find the one we dropped. Kick the knee back into position. You devil, you made it all the way over here, huh? Okay. You look like 10s. Are you 10s? You're 10s. As you can see, I don't do the modern newfangled fucking DeWalt bullshit. Come on, dude. You don't need that shit. Like, maybe if you did this every single day, all day, and your wrists are already worn out, but plain old fashioned. Something like this will get you done. Washer goes on either side. I have to pull this out. And it goes like that. That goes through there. That goes into here. Okay. I'm just going to start that because I don't have the Allen key I need to tighten it, but we can get it started. Okay. Ratchet. Snug you guys up. There's a big old helicopter going overhead. Oh yeah, it's one of them twin rotor Chinook military jobs. The oh man, things make all kind of noise. Allegheny County Airport's that way as the bird flies, maybe a half a mile that way, maybe a mile that way. We get a lot of air traffic, and I swear they really like to do what they do when I'm attempting to make a video. All right, where are we at here? I feel you hanging in there. I appreciate y'all, really do. Bottom of my heart, man. All right, so what are we doing next? We got to seal up the air cleaner, and we should clean this air filter. And you know what? That can be done once the engine's ticking over properly. That's a maintenance item, and it's not the end of the world maintenance item. It needs done. The air cleaner needs cleaned. All right, but it's a foam one, so you're going to wash this out with soap and water and let it dry overnight. And then re-oil it. We will do that once this engine is up and running correctly. Let's go ahead and slide you into place, because before we mess with putting fuel and fire in this engine, we want this airbox to be sealed up, buttoned up proper, because you kind of need that for the vacuum to do what it needs to do. What more did I... Can you see what I'm working on? Let's go ahead and turn this light out. We don't need this extra light. All right. There you can see what I'm doing. All right. Now, it started taking this all apart because I wanted to pull this out to make getting the carbs out easier. But in order to pull this out, there's a plastic guard under here that would have had to come out. And that would have meant taking this off and the whole ass end of the bike. And we just weren't doing all that. So we fought it and made it work the hard way. Because at the end of the day, the hard way was, going to be easier. I know that don't make sense, but it does to me. So we'll go ahead and we'll put these screws back in place because, as I said, in order for this particular style of carburetor to work properly, you really need everything sealed up and no vacuum leaks from the carburetor or, from the airbox side. So put these screws all back in where they got to go. Oh my. You're going to be stubborn. You're going to be a stubborn one, aren't you? We're just doing you later. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to happen. Yeah, shoot you in place here. Guys, it is almost sandwich time. Holy crow, it's 1 o'clock. We're past sandwich time. We just might break off this live until later and get back to it. I had a late breakfast. I had a late lunch too, I think. But I'm fat. A fat guy is going to eat regardless of what his YouTube viewers want to see. Fat guy is going to get something to eat when he's hungry. That's just how that's going to work out. Oh, sorry if you don't like it. Sorry if I'm in the way too, but I kind of have to be. I did not want that to happen. And that screw out. And that screw out. We need one in here. Of course, it's going to be, yep, not that size. Bear with me a second, folks. I've got to go find something. Do I have a socket that size? Probably not. I do. That's nice. Make my life a little easier. place. Don't be a gorilla on this. Snug. 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 Something like that. You grip it up here, okay? You don't grip it down here, up here. That way you have less force. You're not going to foobar anything. All right. I do believe, I do definitely do believe we might be ready to put some fuel to this sucker, and let's see if we can make it bark. Still might have to synchronize the carburetors, but I do believe with a little bit we have done, we just about ought to be able to have it barking off and running a whole lot better than it did the last time Yins heard it run. And just unplug this, make life easier for us. All right, let's get you up and over here. And out of my way whilst I look for my fuel cell and see about hooking this all up and see if we can get this here engine to bark off. Okay, got this guy here. Hey, can you see what I'm doing? There we go. We got this guy here is a temporary fuel cell. All right, we are gonna. All right, where's that goddamn piece of rope? I need that piece of rope. Son of a basket. There it is. Hang a piece of rope from the rafter real quick. How do I manage that? I don't know, but all right, there we go. Something like that. Take this guy, something like this. Do a little. There we go. There we go, something like that. Tie a little knot right here. Hold the whole works together with it. Okay, reason we're rigging up a temporary fuel system is there are two vacuum lines on the carburetor that we are going to hook up our vacuum gauges to see how balanced out the carbs are. And let's see, I need a milk crate because I'm going to have to fish those lines up and out. Because even if we don't hook the vacuum gauges to it, those two lines have still got to be plugged or this engine will not run correctly. So how much I've harped on this. A CV series carburetor will not do what it's supposed to do if it doesn't have proper vacuum pulling. It just won't behave. And we got one line here. Where did the other one go? Of course, you can't see the son of a bitch. This is the, alright, that's to the CV unit. So that should be hooking up right in there somewhere. The other, yep, there it is. There she is. So we got one there and one here. We're gonna go get a piece of vacuum hose to put on that from our kit. Honestly, this bike's not going to pull enough vacuum to really make you want to use a clamp. You're not going to need to. It's just not, trust me. But you are gonna need to plug that line, which, well, instead of fighting with it to plug it, we're just going to add this little piece of hose to it. And then instead of trying to plug it way deep down in the bike like this where I could barely touch with my fingertips, we now have this much hose to plug. These two are going to go to our vacuum gauge. Before we get to that, we're going to put the motorcycle's battery tray back in its place. And because we got to put the battery in the bike. Relays up out of the way here. I think we're just going to throw the battery tray in loose for now, because it kind of just needs to sit there at the moment. That's all we need it to do. Just kind of sit there. It don't have to be bolted down all the way to do what we're trying to do today. Alright, and we'll need the battery. Sad positive. The Caltrick Chinese battery. There's a screwdriver would be handy tool to have at this particular time. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, we're not going to hook the positive up just yet. Not just yet. Fuel line over here onto the fuel line. Come here, you devil. Don't fight with me, you'll lose, I promise. Geez, that Pete. That did fit before, didn't it? Yeah. It's a tight fit. Okay, now, if I do remember correctly, you drip a tiny bit of gas, because this is a cheap bottle. So what we're going to do is get a little drip pan ready, just in case you drip some gas. All right. Some fresh go-go juice. Put a little in the bottle. Hopefully without spilling it. That's plenty. It's actually too much, but for what we're doing, it'll be fine. Now, one of these guys here and you can find this out the hard way, or I can tell you. See this? There's a vent on the lid. You want the bike to run properly, you gotta have the vent open. All right. Put our lid on our auxiliary fuel. We gotta seal them two vacuum lines up, which I suppose now would be a good enough time to hook our gauges up to that, right? So let's do that now. I can see what I'm doing from this side. Actually, you know what? Let's not. I got a better idea. Let's just take a bolt from the tray and let's go ahead and just plug these. I think that is going to make life a little easier for now. Where did I put the other one? It's running over here on the ground. Yeah, we're just going to stick a bolt in these and plug them for now. We're just test firing the engine. We're going to tune it later after sandwich time. And honestly, I'll be able to tell by the sound of the engine whether it's happy and whether I even need to go as far as to resynchronize the carbs. Ooh, we need a fatter bolt than that, don't we? We got one. We should. Yeah, this one might do the job. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plug that off. PCV valve shouldn't matter. Before we turn the fuel on, let's hook up the battery. This is the part my neighbor doesn't like because he hears the exhaust of the bikes and they're pointed at his house. Well, motherfucker, listen, it's hot. I'll close the garage door, and I paid my money to live here just like you did. I don't like to hear your giant fucking zero-turn lawnmower. It's the size of a tractor trailer when your yard's not that big. But I hear it in the morning, so I guess at 1:30 in the afternoon, you're going to hear a motorcycle revving up. Especially this little bugger, because it's not that loud. It's tight enough. All right, we got battery. We got battery. Turn the fuel on. Okay. Take a little bit for the carburetor to fill up. There is no accelerator pump, but it is what it is. Let's give her a little crank a link, see what happens. I suppose if I would have tightened up the battery terminal all the way, it would not have done that, huh? But I did not. Oh my goodness. Tighten that down. Tighten that down. Contact. Okay. All right, folks, that's much better already. There you go. Phoenix Motorsports. Rise from the ashes and ride, bitch. This is what we do. Hey, James, what do you think? Bike's up and running. I know you're watching. We got a nice steady idle. And that's about all the more I'm going to run it for now, because I do know that it is out of antifreeze. So we got to correct that problem before we go any further. There you go. That's how it's done, folks. So the bike shop that gave up on this bike, that was their problem. They told them it wasn't worth fixing, yada, yada. Don't waste your money. Well, if you've watched this video series, I've now got about 6 hours invested in this bike total. About 6 hours, give or take. And what had happened, somebody monkeyed with the carburetors and didn't know what they were doing. Got them way out of whack. They completely missed a roached vacuum line. In other words, a vacuum line that was rotted and shot. They didn't fix it. All we did was fix that vacuum line, reset the idle mixture screws to factory reset settings, and a couple new gaskets, sealed the carburetors up. And here we are. I'm going to pour some fresh coolant in the radiator. Hopefully it's not going to leak. Of course, I, overfilled it directly on the exhaust, so that's good. You always want to do that. Can we get a little more in the radiator? Yeah, I feel like it should hold more than that. Okay. What's happening over here? And we're pouring out of it. God dang it. That's not good. That's not what I see. It's coming from around this bolt. Yeah, that O-ring got pinched. I'll have to take that apart and redo it, but that's all right. We know why it's doing it, and that's an easy enough fix. We just got to redo that O-ring. Not a big deal. Things don't always go as planned on the first try. Fire it back up. All right, folks, there you have it. Properly running motorcycle. A few little things to fool with, but I've been at it for 2 hours, and I had some. Gotta see my pants on. Oh, geez, Mom. All right. So a few little bugs firing out. We gotta get that radiator water pumpalizer resealed up. That's not too big of a deal. And I also have to go and pick up the proper size nuts and bolts that I'm going to need to hold the brake master on. Yep, you're going to do that to me, ain't you? How about we do this? Let's get this gas out of this thing, back into the can. Okay. And for now, I'm just about done. May come back to this later. The new movie planned by Stephen King today, opening day, so I may want to wait until next week to see it, but I want to see it bad. It's called The Long Walk. I listened to the audiobook. I'd like to say I read the book. I don't read books. I don't got time for it. But I listened to the audiobook at work, and it's kind of badass, so I really liked it. I'd like to go see it. And it's 1:30. Just might do that today. Let's go ahead and get cleaned up, and we're going to go over what we learned here today. What did we learn today from Mr. Kevin 6154, also Phoenix Motorsports? We learned that constant velocity carburetors need to have the proper amount of vacuum to work. The system needs to be sealed up. You need a factory airbox or an airbox of your own creation, but you need an airbox. Pods suck. We learned that your idle mixture screws are not just screws that you should tighten. They actually have to be set in a proper manner. We learned that sometimes cheaper parts ain't always better, but you can make them work, and they work just fine. And we learned that sometimes shops, if they can't make enough money on you, they'll tell you the bike ain't worth fixing. And that is exactly why I do this. I'd like to inspire more of y'all to get out there, work on your own bike, learn how to work on your own bike, do the trial and error. As you see, not everything's perfect. I was not careful when I put that hard pipe in there, and I got the O-ring boogered, and it leaks like a friggin' sieve, and I have to take it apart and do over. That happens with professionals too. Okay? They're not exempt to that. They make mistakes. It's a simple mistake and an easy one to fix. But it's sandwich time. Now, in order to properly tune in them carburetors, I need the engine good and warm. And to do that, I'm going to have to fix that coolant leak that I thought I had fixed. But, yeah, that's either a job for this evening or tomorrow, because it's sandwich time. You feel me? So how long have we been at this? Almost 2 hours. So if you count the mistake, or if you don't count the mistake I just made by pinching that O-ring, we will have about, give or take, I'd have to go through the lives to get the exact number, but give or take about 8 hours into this by the time it's all buttoned up and done. So I think I got 5 hours into it now. I'm going to have maybe another hour fixing that O-ring and getting it to seal, which I'm going to do that off camera because I got to lay on the floor, get my head right up into it. I'm going to be in the way of the camera. You're not going to be able to see what I'm doing anyway. So I'll fix that off camera. And then we're going to hook up vacuum gauges to the carbs. Ensure that we're pulling the same amount of vacuum, or at least good enough for government work, so the bike will run a ride. We got to run out and get a longer nut and bolt metric for the brake master cylinder, which they're cheap. We're looking at like $2 to $3 maximum on that. We got to bolt the bodywork back on. Bleed the brakes once the new master's installed. At the most, we're gonna have 10 hours into this. And you discount it to 9 because of my little mistake. Your average bike shop charges you around 100 to 125, 150 an hour. That's $1,000 bill, including your parts, which the parts are just cheap. So that's kind of why they were like, oh, it's not worth it, because this bike, let's be honest, would sell on Marketplace. It's a 2009, would sell on Marketplace for $2,000, give or take. So your average Joe is not going to put $1,000 into their $2,000 bike. They're going to throw another $1,000 and just buy another one, you know. What's guys like me, shade tree mechanics all across the land, are putting them back together, running them, using them, enjoying them. When they break, we fix them, you know. This complicated than this beast right here. This beast, not so much. It's fuel injected. There's a lot of sensors. But this is an old school carbureted Harley Davidson. And that little Japanese bike, that's 10 times more complicated than this beast right here. This has 3 times the power. So that's what's up. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all for sticking around today. I think maybe we're going to have pork chops on the grill this evening for dinner, so I'm going to take them out and thaw out. Go make me a sandwich for lunch and decide whether I'm going to come back to this today or let it go till tomorrow. And if I do come back to it, I will not bring you guys on camera until we're actually tuning the carburetors, because just simply is what it is. Like I said, I'm going to have to be up in there with my head in the way of the camera to get that seal in there properly so it doesn't leak. But try to do it on camera. Sorry, it's not going to work. And I'm not going through the rigmarole strapping a GoPro to my head, hooking up Wi-Fi to the GoPro. I do this off 2 beat up old cell phones and a strong Wi-Fi signal from the house. So thanks for watching. I will catch you guys on the next installment. And make them rise from the ashes and ride with Phoenix Motorsports. Do me a favor, like and subscribe.